Going 7 PM Thursday, March 27th. I'll call the meeting to order for the Board of Finance, March 27th meeting. I'll also note on the roll call that all 6 members of the Board of Finance are present here in the room. And we'll move on to item number 2, which is citizen comments. I'll start in the room and then go online. Feeling very popular tonight. We have a lot of people joining, which is a good thing. I just ask that if we please could try to keep comments to 3 minutes. It's not that we don't want to hear people. We absolutely want to hear people. There's just a lot of people and we have a lot of work to do. So I just ask that you be as respectful as possible. I could try to keep it to 3 minutes. Try to keep it on topic if you can. And then lastly, I just encourage everybody to be polite, be neighborly. We all live in the same town. You know, we had a little bit of name calling and other things going on. We're volunteers. We're trying to do the right thing. And
With your own interest. With your own interest. Volunteers.
so we're not,
Yeah, you are.
we haven't started citizen comments yet. So as far as being polite, that would include not interrupting. And I don't want to, I'm also asking people not to pass judgment on character and on people. If you have a comment about the topic and the budgets, we want to hear that. So with that, I'm going to open it to the floor. Is there any citizen in the room that would like to make a comment? Yes, please state your name and your street address.
Brittany Charbonneau, 56 Juliet Ave. Appreciate what you guys are doing. I agree with you. You don't have to be neighborly. I would really love to see you guys do whatever you can to continue to support the school. And continue to keep the budget in line to be able to keep it as it was presented originally. I would hate to see more cuts. Again, I'm just gonna say that the school has been doing a wonderful job. We've had cuts for many years until just recently. So would love to continue to see this great progress that's been continuing to take place. So.
And why are our bastards going so low?
Excuse me.
Why are our scores so low?
Thank you for your comment.
I thought, I pay a lot of money in taxes in this
Then
town.
raise your hand and comment.
If someone wants to talk, I'd ask the citizen to just raise their hand and give everybody a chance. I don't want any more outbursts. We're not gonna have an out of control meeting. If everybody did what certain people are doing, it would be chaos. A citizen that would like to make a comment at this time. Are there any other citizens in the room that would like to make a comment?
I'll
Yes,
talk.
please state your name and. street
Yep,
address
Scott
for the
Prouty,
minutes.
Thompson, Connecticut, okay? Look, I don't see our name on the ambulance in Thompson like it was supposed to be. We put money into a salt shed, we can't put salt in. The $500,000 worth of improvements for the school for security is a joke. Okay, I did a security analysis of that school and I knew exactly what it needed. Okay. We can't continue to raise taxes in this community on the backs of homeowners. There's no commercial base except for the racetrack and the golf course, and they're no bargain either. Okay, you got drunks coming from the racetrack, drunks coming from golf, drunks coming from the weddings. Okay, I know because I've arrested them. Okay, so I know. But, you know, I like the golf course, but it's free for all with the cars running up and down the road at 100 miles an hour. This is supposed to be a complaint-driven community. I brought a complaint forward to the selectmen and very rudely dealt with, as well as Jason got in the middle of it. And I'm still at ground zero, which is gonna lead me to sue the town. Okay? I'm not happy here. I love my home. I love my people. Okay, but you had to have the track. Oh, we need the track. You had to have the air conditioning. We need the air conditioning. Oh, you had to have this. What about a rainy day? Right? Why should we be giving raises to teachers? Okay, when our scores are so low, let's base it on performance. I would close the school, send them to Woodstock, send them to Putnam, sell them to Killingley. That brings our property values up to Woodstock. You can't keep polishing something that doesn't work. That's my comment.
Thank you, sir, for your comment. Are there any other citizens in the room that would like to make a comment at this time? Please state your name and address.
Sean Brissett, 342, Little Davis Road. I started coming to meetings probably in 2013, coming to a lot of the meetings. And our fund balance was pretty high back in those days. 10 or more percent. I remember for some reason being around $8 million. And in the time that I've been going to meetings, I think the town's been almost the textbook definition of insane, doing the exact same thing over and over, expecting different results. I said it last week, there's two things that I think most people wouldn't agree can both be true. We can't keep raising the taxes on local citizens, and we can't keep underfunding our town, and we're doing both. We do underfund the town, as is evident by our surplus is now dangerously low. And I think a lot of people that want to keep seeing zero aren't understanding there's a real possibility of the state coming in and setting our mill rate. When you get below 5%, I believe 5 is really the magic number. They can just come in and say, you're not funding your town properly. We're going to do it for you. You're now X, and they're not going to say it's 21 or 22. They're going to say it's 30 because you need to start rebuilding your surplus and you need to start properly funding things. And as citizens, we don't get a say in that. They come in, they say your mill rate's 30, your mill rate's 30. So we can keep going down this path of trying to get zero every year, try to hope it passes. But at the end of the day, what we really need to do is figure out how to bring in a commercial tax base. And we need to talk about the real idea of a town administrator, which the same people who are always complaining about their taxes, most of them at least, are the same ones who fight the idea of a town administrator and bringing in business. So the idea of sitting here arguing that we can't raise taxes, but we still want services and we want a quiet town and we don't want to, I mean, those things don't add up. They just don't. And to the point, it's been said so many times, the concept of closing the school, multiple studies have been done financially. It is just the high school alone. Last study was $2 million, Bill, about $2 million more to send the kids somewhere else, because we still have to educate them. So, and by the way, you then lose control of the budget because you don't have a vote in another town's budget. You don't have a Board of Ed member on that town's Board of Education. So that concept doesn't really work in practice. It sounds good, but it wouldn't work in practice. It would put it even further into debt. So there's harsh realities that people who want zero have to start understanding.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other citizens in the room that would like to make a comment? Yes,
Robert
please state your
Jan,
name.
15 Meadow Drive,
Thank you.
Thompson, obviously. I'm not on the board. I understand that you all volunteer and it's a difficult process to make the adjustments and do the things you do, and I want you to know you're appreciated. I always spoke about the people that are single and have are homeowners and struggle with taxes and have a difficult time, and the elderly that have had their homes and retired, in the 90s or, long ago, and their incomes haven't increased, but, we all know the taxes have and multiple things have, the public utilities benefit on electric bills and a lot of other things are factors. But I'm gonna speak about me tonight. Everybody's had these adjustments, the state mandates that every 5 years you have to do these assessments. And you can argue if you don't think they're fair. I have 3 properties in town. One's the house I live in, went up like 80 grand, that's a 60% increase. I need a 17.5% mill rate to keep my taxes the same. I know that's not gonna happen. I know reality. That's one property I own. I own another property that's like a shed. Didn't go up much, went up like 10 grand. But it was a 30% increase. That property could go with it's a cheap property, it's like $60,000 property. Needs a 21.5% mill rate to keep the taxes the same on it. Then I have a property that's unbuildable that I paid $40,000 for. And when I bought it because it had a cheap assessment, because half of it was wetlands. And it had a $9,900 assessment per year. I got an assessment for $176,600 on that property. That's a 1,683% increase. I went down, talked to Paul, brought the old paperwork from the Board of Assessment of Appeals from the previous owner, and I got it down to $49,500. I need a 5.6 mill rate to keep the same tax bill on that property. That's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna go from a $276,000 bill to probably well over 1,000 on that. And it's just an empty lot. That can't even be built on. So I'm looking at, no matter what you guys do, I'm gonna probably have a $1,200 or $1,300 increase this year, which is, for me, is difficult. I'm the only one, I shouldn't say that, I'm not the sole provider anymore. She works part-time. Sorry, almost. Anyway, so, but it just keeps getting more difficult. 5 years ago, I know I had a freezer in my basement full of meat. I have freaking pizza we get hamburgers as a special occasion at my house now. We heat our house with wood. I'm not wealthy. That's it. I'm pleading with you. To make the adjustments that are needed for the residents. I know it's all about the town and the school, but it's also about the residents. It's all a balance.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're sitting in this chair.
Are there any other residents?
You just gotta.
Yes, please state your name. and address.
Christine Campbell,
Is it-
851 Thompson Road. I just want to discuss a few things about my personal budget. Because I understand everybody's going through difficult times. We're still having inflation issues. We still have increased costs. Household budget expenses. So for example, my electric bill has increased $200 a month. 100 of that is public benefits, which helps pay people's bills that they didn't pay. If I didn't pay my electric bill, I'd get shut off. It also covers EV mandates, green issues, things like that. I don't have an EV. It's ridiculous. Side note, homeowners insurance went up $50 a month. Car insurance has gone up $34 a month. Groceries are $400 a month more. That's $684 a month more for my family. My husband hasn't had a raise in 3 years. He doesn't get a 2-point-something% raise every year or a 3% raise every year. It'd be nice because it'd be almost 10% more, but we're not getting that. So taxes, my taxes now are $395 a month. That's $47.45 a year. We live on a state road. We don't use any town services except for one. In the wintertime, we come down and get salt and sand from the highway garage. My husband went down there. There was no salt sand mixture this year. So I called up. There was a little confusion. I had to call a couple different departments because nobody understood that we actually had, I guess our salt went over to Comfort and then it came back while our building was being built, our new building. So I finally got the Public Works Department, the head of that department. I don't want to name names because I don't want to make it personal. But this gentleman told me that he would fix the situation, but not this year. So when I complained to him and said, this is the only town service that I utilize for $400 a month, it's the only thing I use for a few times in the winter time. He said that the selectmen discussed this with him and that was their plan, that this was when he had time, that another shed, I guess, is gonna be built for the town people to be able to get their salt sand mixture, because it can't be outside in the element, which I understand that part of it. So I said, I guess I should speak with the selectmen then. And he really said to me, if you want to pull that card, go ahead. And that no one else was complaining about the situation except for me. So that's pretty harsh to be told that as somebody who pays their taxes and pays $400 a month in taxes and only utilizes that one service. So pretty much to sum up, I'd like to say that we need to have as low of an increase as possible because everybody is struggling. Everybody. I don't care who you talk to. People don't have grocery carts full of groceries anymore when you go shopping for your groceries for your family. People can't afford it. So while you want to support your town and do what needs to be done, we have to be real here. So please, I know we had a reevals. I got a large one too. We have to make the mill rate lower to accommodate the reevals, but then of course there's increases every year. Everybody asks for this, asks for that, maybe this, they want that. You're not cutting things, you're not adding things. That's the reality. So I'm begging to have you not add as many things because people cannot afford it. I cannot afford it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens in the room that would like to make a comment at this time? Please go.
All right. Hello,
Before you jump in, could you state your name? and
yes, of
street
course,
address?
of course, yeah.
113 Labby Road, James Clark. And I'm gonna see if I can, I'm gonna hand this to RJ after as a correspondence just for, you know, future use, okay? Because I have a request in here that might be useful. All right, good evening, members of the Board of Finance. I'm here to raise a concern regarding the transparency of Medicaid reimbursements related to education costs. For the 2024 fiscal year, Thompson's education budget was proposed at 21,441,863 with a significant 1.2 million increase, largely driven by rising special education costs. These costs often trigger Medicaid reimbursements for services such as therapies and other supports. However, our financial statements do not provide a clear line item reflecting these reimbursements. As a taxpayer, I am concerned that we do not know the exact amount of Medicaid funds that offset our local tax burden. If it's 500,000 or more annually, that's a considerable amount. However, I assume it is for various reasons much significantly less due to enrollment status and decline over the years and other factors not mentioned. This concern is not new. I always seem to be confused about the clarity surrounding Medicaid reimbursements. However, my intention has always been to address these issues openly. While I was not elected to the Board of Finance, I ran with the goal of addressing issues like this one, ensuring transparency and proper oversight of the town's finances. My concerns today stems from the same commitment to the taxpayer of Thompson's. Had I been elected to the Board of Finance, I would have made it a priority to ensure concerns like this were presented and addressed, which also would provide more data for the public, for the taxpayers of Thompson. Due to the lack of clarity, I've submitted a FOIA request to the superintendent. I'm requesting 7 years worth of records detailing the total Medicaid reimbursements received, how these funds are allocated, and why they're not clearly reported as offsets in the district's financial reports. However, appears to be, may have been pooled with other reimbursements. Also, requested meeting minutes where the issue has been discussed. This is about accountability. We have rising special education costs, and we deserve to understand how federal and state funds contribute to offsetting these costs. Moreover, Connecticut's minimum budget requirements limits the extent to which the school budgets can be reduced, but there is an exemption for districts experiencing declining enrollment. Thompson's enrollment has decreased by 13.48% over the last 5 years. It does justify the consideration of budget reductions. Without transparency regarding Medicaid reimbursements, it's difficult to assess whether we are overfunding in light of declining enrollment, and other districts makes these reimbursements visible, and I believe Thompson should do the same. I want to emphasize, I'm not suggesting that the data is being hidden, but I suspect it's just pulled into a combined line item somewhere. I'm confident that our financials meet required standards. However, transparency can and should be improved. I urge the Board of Finance to consider adding a specific line item for Medicaid reimbursements, education and future budget reports, or at least clarifying the information in the notes section of the financial statements, which could, for example, show a separate pool that includes reimbursement services provided by the therapist, such as speech, OT, or PT, or any other that would bill for Medicaid reimbursements. The FOIA request I've submitted may reveal the full scale of the reimbursements. Ultimately, the data may help provide solutions on how to streamline reimbursements to the school, resulting in improving the burden on the residents of the town. It could bring up conversations of the importance of certain forms being filled out by the parents that may help for reimbursement capabilities for particularly special needs, special education needs. I have a few other examples, but that's just, 2 to name. And many more can be expressed as well. Thank you for your time and service. Let's work together to ensure transparency on how Medicaid funds are supporting our schools, particularly given the challenges of enrollment decline and rising costs.
Thank you for your comment. Any other citizens? Yes, please state your name and address.
Heather Santos, 77 Hagstrom Road. I want to start by thanking the Board of Finance. Like most of the volunteer commissions and boards, it's often a thankless job. As a Board of Ed member, I am not immune to the difficult decisions that sometimes need to be made. However, much like the Board of Ed, the Board of Finance's role is not to do what's best for you, but what's best for the town as a whole. Last meeting, we heard from an overwhelming majority of citizens who asked for you to put forth the budgets as presented. As mentioned last meeting, 3 of our 4 recent referendum budget cycles passed on the first try, with our last vote being approved despite having over a 2 mil increase and a recent string of 3 capital projects, all, by the way, that passed on the first try, despite naysayers. I don't want a certain faction in this town to shift your eyes off the facts at hand. The town and school need proper funding to survive. Our town's children deserve quality education, and the majority of people in this town, based on voting stats over the last 4 years, want to see it happen. You need to set the budget based on what the town and the school need and what the people want, which is budgets as presented, put to vote without cuts. I want to also remind this board that any and all cuts to the Board of Ed budgets will result in cuts to our general education program. With special ed and contractual fixed costs dominating most of our budget, we have simply nowhere else to go. Please don't jeopardize all the progress the school has made. Cuts to programs would negatively impact our students' education, and as mentioned last meeting, you can't get those years back. Students that need math and English intervention now can't wait until next budget year. Taking away outlets such as music, art, sports will most certainly negatively impact our youth, and those programs will take years to rebuild if paused. Look at what COVID did. Sports programs are still trying to recover from the participation numbers they once had. Lastly, I want to echo what others had said at the last meeting. Special education is the school's biggest variable and one we can't control. With over 25% of our students requiring services equating to 25% of our operating cost, when we go over, it's almost always due to special education. Much like how the town is held to how mild or harsh our winter is for salt and sand demands and costs, it's not unlike how the school is for being in the red or in the black, depending on if we acquire additional special education students. The costs to special ed are almost impossible to predict. One child moving into the district could tip the scales by over $100,000. Last meeting, when you talked about salt and sand in your budget for the town, you were proactive. You gave yourself a cushion for the unexpected. When you talk about the education budget, I encourage you to do the same. Instead of thinking cuts on a budget proposal that represents the needs of the school, we should be acting proactively and giving ourselves a cushion for the almost guaranteed demand from special education. I thank you for your time, and I hope you do the right thing by our youngest citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens in the room that would like to make a comment at this time? Thank you all. We're gonna, sorry, Jackson, you were all the way over there.
Yeah, Jackson Santos, 77 Hackton Road. I'm a senior at Turtle, and I just want to say that there's a bunch of new programs that we have in our school that really do help the kids out. For example, we have culinary, a brand new wood shop, and we have the new track is awesome. I use it every single day. There's always a bunch of people there. So I just want to say our school is heading in the right direction, so please do not stop now.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, last chance in the room. Any other citizen in the room? Okay, we're gonna move online. We have a lot of people online, so please raise your hand. And I think we'll unmute Amy one at a time. Is that the idea?
iPhone.
So someone's coming in just says iPhone. Please state your name and address.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. This is Jen Martacci, 86 Layton Road. I just wanted to say that I've lived here for about 7.5 years. And in the first 5 years that we lived here, our combined real estate taxes were somewhere around 675, okay, ish. The first 5 years. And in just the past 2 years alone, the combined tax was about 620. So pretty close, with a difference of like maybe $45 to $50. So that's just the 2 years. I'm a single mother. I've been widowed for 3 years. I'm raising 2 girls on my own. Both of my girls went to the school. Unfortunately, the middle school and the high school could not meet their needs, so now I suffer the burden of having to put them in private school. I actually had to homeschool my youngest for a year, so it makes it pretty difficult. With the current revaluation, I would need a mill rate under 20 in order to continue to afford my home. So I'm asking the board for some compassion and to make the cuts necessary so that myself, my girls, and so many others in town can continue to afford to live here. And thank you so much for your time. That's it.
Thank you for your comments and input. Anyone else on the Zoom any other citizen on the Zoom would like to make a comment? Any other citizen on the Zoom would like to make a comment? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you all.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
before,
There was a chat.
was there some?
There was I don't know if it was in the chat,
Yeah,
or I just want to make sure, because sometimes people don't know how to raise hands.
This was iPhone.
I think this is the.
Okay.
Yep. Danielle's iPhone.
Oh,
Yeah.
now we have Danielle's iPhone.
I think there's like white hands that are raising and then they turn yellow as well.
Okay, Danielle,
Sorry, I wasn't sure how to raise that hand, so thanks for giving some clarification. My name is Daniela. I live at 225 Ballard Road in town. Good evening. We all know the cost of living increases year after year. In recent years, it has been especially hard on people. I've heard what others have to say, and I'm feeling it too. It's tough. There are things in this budget that I don't agree with. However, the last place we should be looking to cut is education. As a mother of 3 children in the Thompson Public Schools, I'm concerned for their education. If large cuts are made before it even goes to vote, we've already cut 5 teaching positions, and that alone will be a huge impact on learning. A classroom that once was 15, 16 students will now easily be 20 plus. Have you ever volunteered at our schools? I volunteer weekly because there's no full-time librarian in the middle school. It's supported by our elementary librarian as well as parents, volunteers. 87% of the school budget is obligated, and the meager 13% left goes to support the extracurriculars and any educational programs. There is minimal things in this town for our children to do, and now we could take away what little's left. The first things that are gonna get cut will be those extras, sports, after school programs, field trips. All of those are just as important as the education they are receiving. No one wants the mill rate to go up, but yet everyone will complain about the conditions of our roads, the school. The only way to better our town is to support its needs as presented, put this budget to vote as is. Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other citizen online that would like to make a comment?
There
was another one.
Israel,
Good evening, and I apologize that I couldn't be there in person. My name is Israel Zarola. I live at 1096 Thompson Road. I've lived here since 1995. I had 3 children graduate from Turtle Lot, and recently I had my youngest finish at Thompson Middle School. I apologize. I'm holding this so I make sure that you can hear me. I want to start by expressing my appreciation for the diligent work that you did at the last meeting. This is only my second meeting, but you went line by line on items to determine the best use of our town's resources. And I saw a thoughtful approach that's commendable and speaks to your commitment to our community. This evening, I'd like to advocate for what I believe is an essential pillar of any community, and that's a school. Investing in education is not merely an expense, it's a profound investment in the children's future, and by extension, the future of Thompson. And I urge you to prioritize our schools and ensure they receive the funding they need. Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other citizen online?
was a Tama, Senos, I think. She was in
Okay,
the chat and said me, so.
okay,
If you type the name Amy in the
I
top.
don't see her. Anyone to be left out either. But maybe a bad connection.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Tama, we can hear you, yes. Could you
Okay, thanks.
say your full name and street address, please, for the group?
Of course, Tama Senosk, 22 First Street, North Grosvenor Dale. So I would like to speak up. I'm not usually one that gets involved in these meetings. However, I felt it was important to speak up during this meeting specifically. I'm here to actually voice the love and appreciation I have for all of Thompson Public Schools, everyone on this call, all of the educators, coaches, maintenance staff from kindergarten, Mrs. Brissette, all the way up until new guidance counselor, Kimberly Steglitz. Everyone within the school has loved my son, supported him, given him the most incredible education. I did not go to Thompson. I lived in Thompson my entire life. I went to Marianapolis Preparatory High School, and I did not have a similar experience as my son. My son has received accolades from everyone who's touched his life. I get compliments on him consistently. And I'd like to say that it takes a village to raise a proper, educated, well-loved community member like my son, like his friends, like everyone in that high school. If you invest in your child and you send them into that building, they will get a proper education. They will go on to trades. They will go on to college. They will go on to the military, the workforce. They will come back to Thompson. They will come back to something they want to be a part of. If there's nothing left for them to come back to, yes, people will leave the town, specifically my son and his friends, and there will be nothing to come back to. So I please urge you to put forward the education budget as it stands, because we can't afford to lose kids in this town. There will be nothing to come back to, and kids will continue to leave town, and we will have, you know, we won't have a town that we love and appreciate right now. So I'm here as a concerned parent, a friend, coworker. I don't work at the school, but I mean, my husband does and my son does. And I love the town, and I can't speak any more highly about all of those people in those buildings. I love them all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Any other citizen online? Okay. I don't see any others. Okay,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
before you get started, there were a couple items that, I think I was tasked with finding out for the board, and I would like to share that. I'd also like to share, this is Amy St. Ange, First Selectman, that I've had some time since Monday to really put a lot of thought into this budget. And I know that on the town side, we've really trimmed what I feel is almost detrimental to the town. But for the sake of knowing everybody's concerns about the revaluation process. When it comes to the school, I believe if this board makes additional cuts to the school, that we're gonna be made vulnerable. Because who we should be angry at is the legislature in the state for putting these mandates for special education and not assisting the towns. It's deplorable what the state gives us for our $5.6 million, if I quoted that correctly, special education budget. I believe it was $350,000 roughly. Not even $350,000 as an offset to do something that the schools are mandated to do. They're in a very vulnerable position right now, and it's only going to be detrimental to all of us in this town. 5 years ago, when I took office, the town was crumbling, and we've made so many gains, and I'm grateful to the taxpayers for that. But I don't see that there's any place else that I know on the town side, and I would say on the school side, that we can go. You did ask me about a couple of items. I did reach out to another camera, and again, another unfunded mandate. We have to put a camera on the ballot box, which is honestly not even needed anymore because the ballot box was put in place during COVID. But we have to keep it out there. Now we need to put a camera on the ballot box that will record over a year's worth of data. So we are working with another vendor, and I was able to secure, it'll cost us about $5,000. I have $3,000 left in the town hall repair budget, which I could utilize to, get the process started, because the camera needs to be in place by July 1. So if this board could consider putting $2,000 into the capital, the transfer side, that would be helpful. And on the MS4 side, although that's another mandate that I made the request of the board to just eliminate it altogether. I don't think it would be prudent to do that, but we could trim $5,000 off of that state mandate. So from 30,000, we could bring it down to 25,000. So those are the two items I know I was supposed to get back to.
Amy, thank you for the follow-up on those items. Thank you for your, I'd say very heartfelt, input and feedback on the rest of the budget. Thank you for that. On the MS4, was that, reduction still I'm assuming that it's still keeping us in compliance?
Yes,
with
we think
what's doing-
some of the testing on a few of the outfalls, we could probably
Okay.
skip over.
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
You, a number of years the town didn't do it. And then last year you caught up on it, or,
2 years ago.
2
we got
years.
Caught up on it.
and that should have been the bulk of, going around town and determining and so forth. Is this year just more of a permitting process? What is the actual job that they're doing? Because if you didn't do it for so many years and then you got caught up, all right, with the GIS and everything like that, then that basic work should be done. Now it's a matter of a permitting process. I don't understand, because like I checked with Putnam, and I'm not comparing us to Putnam, but like their highway foreman does the MS4 permit. And I asked him what he had to do, and he says it's like $1,800, $2,000. We do the permit, we send that into the state for compliance. Are we doing something more than that?
Still, the way I understood it was still inspection of outfalls and then the annual report and the data that had to get sent in. So,
The data gets sent in, but I just don't see 30, is this, we contracted this out with
Yes.
somebody? And
J&D has been doing the work.
well, J&D, what did they tell you the work they were gonna do?
I don't have the.
Okay, no,
the quote
but I mean, I just, it's a crazy amount of money for a job that we really caught up on 2 years ago. That really should have I could have seen that being 34,000 because it hadn't been done in so long, and now it was a matter of just the paperwork and stuff like that. I mean, maybe tops, it should be like $5,000 and still be compliant with the state. I'm just curious of what the scope of her service was gonna be.
I can get that for you.
Not a, just check on it, that's all I'm saying. That's all.
Thank you, Brian. Before anyone else on that topic, on the topic of MS4 or ballot box cameras?
Might ask, where did we end it with on the cameras as of the end of our last meeting? Did we get all the camera money out?
We had voted to take all the camera money out, which included multiple buildings, but we also said that based on some work that Amy's gonna do, we very well are gonna comply with the mandate. We didn't take it out with an intention to not come back to it.
Right, so now it's zero, is our.
Right now, it's at 0.
That's what I thought.
That's correct.
I don't.
Before,
I thought the motion said that we had to leave in the money amount that was stated tonight by, excuse me, by Amy. I think the money amount was part of the motion, yeah. It was, so it's whatever Amy was to say tonight should be in Bill's number. Because that was the way the motion.
$2,000 in the budget for the cameras.
You're actually correct, Nikki, and I voted no because we didn't know how much that was and everybody else voted yes. Sorry, Steve, go
I
ahead.
just make a motion that we put.
Can I?
Sure.
Sorry to cut you.
No, I think you know where I'm going, so go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to level set. I don't want to cut up any
please.
motion, so.
No, please.
You have the floor right when we're
No,
done.
please.
What I'd like to do though, before we get into motions and any types of cuts, is I'd like to have Bill level set where we are.
Okay.
Just as a reference
Sure.
point, and then we'll be
Okay.
right back to you,
No, that's
Steve.
fine.
My apologies.
No need.
Bill, could you just maybe level set us through where we are with the model and where, we know where our drop off point was. It was 10 o'clock Monday. So if you can, if you can restart us, that would be great.
So, as you guys know, I go through and check the model. It's 53 pages long. I went through and did my QC checks. There's one adjustment, to make sure that the changes you guys had made on paving and on the municipal repair fund, I had to fix the link on those. The good news is that our starting point tonight is lower than where we had left off. With those links corrected. So we are now at a proposed mill rate of 20.9 mil. And that is a 1.6 mil increase over the adjusted mill rate that we've been using of 19.29. Now, I would like to remind the board that, I don't want to forget this again, because I believe we probably meant to do this last time. The
Ambulance.
increase on the ambulance needs to be addressed. That is not in these numbers.
No.
Because a motion was not made.
Okay.
Only changes, obviously, that were motioned and voted on were put into the model.
Thank you, Bill. Anything else?
Bill, on the,
Well, hang on a second.
Oh.
Anything else, Bill?
No.
Okay, any questions for Bill?
the capital line item,
Yes.
what do you have in for the cameras?
We took out all of the camera money.
Zero.
Just a second when we get to the tab.
You were right, it was supposed to be Amy coming with a number, and that
Correct.
number would be input.
Correct.
So
I
we
just
didn't
wanna-
have Amy's number to.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
To.
It's not available now.
It is,
No,
I think
no,
that's. the
hang on,
first
hang
one.
on.
It's a 5,000.
Yeah.
So from 32.
5,000, five it was, but yeah.
So the capital page, the line for the cameras is here.
So it should be for the ballot.
The proposed was 32,183 and it was fully released.
Okay,
So that's where we would add it back in with Amy's number.
thank you, Bill.
Oh.
Thank you. I don't, let's try to be, no, it's okay. It's just that there's a lot going on and I know everybody's got a lot to say. We'll get everybody's voices heard on the board for sure. Bill, anything else?
No.
Okay. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
Any other comments on Bill's update? Let's keep it to that right now. Yes, David.
With regard to the camera setup, if I heard you correctly, Amy, you mentioned that it had to be installed by July 1.
Correct.
So putting that money in next year's budget is not going to assist the installation of that camera by July 1.
I would follow up with a question on work done and invoice.
Right.
If the invoice is due, Bill, in 15 days and the work's done prior, does it fall into the prior year or is it accrued in the does it fall into the net following year or is it accrued in the prior?
It should
year?
be encumbered in the year, so it should be encumbered in this year.
Okay.
Hit this year's
Thank you.
expenses.
Thank you, Dave.
No, I have a process question on that.
On that topic, please, because I'm gonna
Yes.
give it back to Steve.
No, on that
But
topic.
go ahead, Nikki.
If the motion last week included Amy's number, do we need another motion now to remove it and not put it back in capital?
That's how it would work, because the motion last week said we 5-1, that whatever number Amy came up with would go in. Thank God it's not higher than 32,000. Steve, so any other comments on Bill's updates?
So that's.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Bill.
that's why I'm
Steve,
tracking which one
and I'm being a little bit, we're all generally pretty good tonight. I'm kind of really following process diligently. Steve, to you.
Based on what Bill said, we need to have the $2,000 spent this year or encumbered this year.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we take $2,000 from surplus and apply it to the purchase of cameras.
The motion is to take $2,000 from surplus and apply it to cameras. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second for discussion, just so we
Okay,
get a
thank you.
discussion going. Is there another area besides surplus? Because we've had concerns about surplus. Is there an area that you two feel we could get the 2,000 out without going into surplus?
So we had, I believe it was 3850 remaining in the town hall building, repairs and maintenance line. And we actually had some money left.
We could probably find it from another line.
It would probably be in another department, but there may be some. I mean, that's not a lot of money to go from the 3850 to the 5,000. So probably I would look into repair and maintenance lines, maybe even at the town garage, for example, and be able to pull funds from there in a transfer, so not have a net.
So you're looking to do all the cameras,
No,
just the one? Well, you said the town, down the town garage, so we're just the one camera.
There might
Okay.
be funds there that
Okay.
could be transferred.
All right.
we can find the money.
Okay,
But.
so there's still a motion on the table. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Steve, if you got
Say that
discussion.
But the funds, if whether you take it from another account or not, still ends up coming out of what would have gone into surplus.
Correct.
So it really is a net impact on surplus, one way or the other. So.
Right, the difference is we're not gonna, your motion is to pull it from surplus. This would be a surplus avoidance in a sense, if we go back in.
It doesn't, nothing gonna change our surplus situation, one way or the other.
Any other discussion on this? I don't think we should take it from surplus. I think the motion should be reread, but any other discussion on this?
You said 2,000?
Yep.
Amy, you said the cost is 5,000?
She has three.
Roughly, I have 38 left in the
Okay.
repair. I mean, I just want to make sure I have enough and we have, in case something incidental happens within the next
3 months.
next few months, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you, sorry, excuse me for a moment. Yes, RJ.
What was the second? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
The
I did.
second was
RJ.
Brian. Steve voted yes. Nate,
I vote yes.
Dave,
No,
Brian,
No,
Nikki,
No.
and Rob Borge, I vote no. That fails 4-2.
I'll make a motion that we remove $5,000 from the MS4 allocation.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion on removing $5,000, going from 30,000 to 25,000 on MS4 under the guidance of our first selectman? Confirming that we're still in compliance. Any discussion? Hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
Can you come back to me?
I can come back to you. Dave, how do you
yes,
vote?
yes.
Brian?
yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
I vote yes. Nate? I'm
I'll
back
go
to you.
yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0. Process question for Bill. If we don't address it tonight, can we address cameras and transfer
Yes,
at another night?
absolutely.
I mean, I
Yep,
think
We
the
have
answer is
until,
yes.
we have
Okay.
a couple months to do that work, but
Okay.
we can continue to get the quote
Yes.
and line it up.
Okay, we need to be in compliance and it has to be by July 1st, so it is a fiscal 25 problem, not problem, challenge. So we'll take that separately from the budget workshop.
Can,
Can I make a motion?
If okay, I think Nikki was just a
Okay,
fraction
fine,
of ahead
no,
of
that's
you.
fine, no.
I might be the same one. I was
Let's
gonna.
try it. Go ahead.
I was gonna make the motion, and I don't know really what the right wording is, is it a remotion of last week? Like to not put that 5,000 back into the 2025-26 budget line item for the cameras?
Did you put that in the budget? No.
It's not in there,
Not in here.
but
No,
the motion
But it
stated,
was in the, it was in the motion, so I
So
would,
is an
I would, if
addenda?
you're looking to unwind that part of the
Yes.
motion, I would unwind that. If that's what you want to do.
yeah, that is what I want to do.
Okay, so your motion is,
The motion is to not place the 5K that Amy gave us this evening as the price for the cameras back in the capital budget for cameras in the 25-26 fiscal year.
RJ, do you have that? Do you have that?
I'll
Okay,
second that.
Steve already seconded it.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Dave.
that was
He beat you
very
to the
wordy.
punch. Is there any discussion around
I pressed my
removing the
button.
5,000?
I said I pressed my button.
Any discussion on that one? Okay, hearing none, Steve. how do you-
RJ,
RJ's
you
got it.
you
Yeah,
got
I
it?
looked
Okay.
at it.
Yes, let's go.
Steve votes yes. Nate,
I'll vote yes.
Dave,
Yes,
Brian? How do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
Nikki, thank you. Votes yes, and Rob Ward will vote
Well,
yes.
technically, there was.
That
no
passes 6-0.
She was gonna bring a number.
I'll make a motion that for Department 3301, it's on page 33, line 23, we reduce that from, I believe, 5,000 to 2,500. Make a motion, we reduce it to $1,000.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah,
funding,
Let's let everybody get to that. It's page
33,
it's page 33,
line 23, Department 3301.
line item 23. Okay. Last week, we moved that from 5,000 to 2,500.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But in any case, I'd like to reduce it to 1,000. This is the help seal up a building that's been damaged. We have never needed anywhere near $2,500 in the past. If we do have this, right now it's sort of in there as a contingency. I don't want to have to spend, collect taxes to fund the contingency, so I'm suggesting $1,000.
You're suggesting we drop it to 1,500, because it's at 2,500 now.
Yes.
So the motion is, the
1,500.
the motion is under building official, Department 3301, line 23.
Hopefully we got that
To
right.
remove $1,500 from that line item, taking it down to $1,000.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Steve?
That's correct.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second that one.
Nikki seconded the motion. Any discussion on the motion?
I just think that with the cost of goods and everything that's going, it's exploded since the COVID that's happened between like repairs and supplies and all that, that I'm a little nervous that if these people need to do what they need to do to be in compliance with standards of, just health and emergency. I get that splitting it in half to the 2,500, but now going down another $1,000. It's like, we're talking about what if, and this is a situation, it's like, what if, so.
Isn't this mostly boarding up homes?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
So-
have an inventory
It's-
of
it's
wood. or
wood,
plywood.
okay.
That's correct. And it's also,
In
it's
the
also
event of fire,
reimbursed,
so-
it's also
Yeah.
reimbursed afterwards. It's really to have it.
So it is
in advance.
reimbursed?
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay, I didn't catch that though, but
Yeah.
that's like for fires and flooding,
Right.
that's what I thought.
that's correct.
Yep.
So if they do file for certain expenses, we can get that back to the state or federal
Yep.
government.
You
Okay.
just need to have it.
All right, I didn't catch that the last time, I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Nate.
Nope,
Any other
no problem.
discussion? Any other discussion, comment? I tend to agree. I think 0 puts them in a bad spot, but 1,000 can pretty much board up a home if there's something like that. And if it's not used, we can build it a little bit more the following year. So this doesn't have to be just a 1 year.
And if it's really a bad situation, we can authorize the use of contingency.
That's
we're
what
gonna get reimbursed anyway,
It's just
so.
a contingency anyway.
And it would be, that's
Right,
correct.
my fault.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
I'll say yes.
Dave
Yes.
votes yes. Brian?
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob, words will vote yes. That passes 6-0.
Can I make another motion?
Well, is it still on page 33?
No.
Okay, while we're on page 33, on line item office supplies. I either didn't write a note down, so before I do anything here, do we have any explanation on why office supplies that was trending about $300 a year for the last few years is now $3,900?
That was a filing cabinet. That was a fireproof
Right.
safe.
Oh, the fireproof filing cabinets, that's right.
And why is that not in capital?
It's below the 5.
yeah, I was gonna say that not,
It's a 5,000
Yeah.
threshold?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. And we have a quote on the filing cabinet? That sounds like an awesome filing cabinet.
I believe it or not, I couldn't believe it either, so I actually looked them up and it's the fireproof element of it that makes them so expensive.
Thank you for doing that homework, Bill. Appreciate that. Steve, back to you. While we're on that page. I
No,
have
sure,
a
no,
question.
fair enough. yeah.
Thank you.
Department 4101.
Give us a
Sorry, I
page
don't have
number,
a,
please.
sorry, I don't have a page. Particular page.
Do you have a name?
I think it's human services.
Does anybody have a page?
35.
35. Thank you, Brian. Page 35. Back to you, Steve.
he could have made the page numbers bigger, I know that.
Teague had asked for a $16,000 increase. Currently, the town pays about 6% of the benefits that Teague provides to our citizens. Teague had asked for a $16,000 increase. That's been reduced to a $1,000 increase. They need more than that to do their job. I'm gonna suggest that of the $15,000 cut that was taken, that we reduce that by half. So in other words, from where it stands now, that we add half the cut or $7,500 to that count, to that line. I'm sorry, I don't have that line in front of me.
Line number 8.
So that's half of the restore half the cut.
35, line 8.
Thank you.
Line,
Line 8.
The motion, Steve, did you state that in the form of a motion?
Yes, the motion to add $7,500 to line 8 of account of 4101 Human Services.
I'll second it.
Okay. The motion is to add $7,500 back to support the TGASC. And for the record, we didn't touch that line prior. And it was seconded by Brian. Any discussion on this topic?
Yeah.
Selectmen got 50.
The selectment cut.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I-
okay.
It's okay,
It was cut,
I'm just
yeah.
making it clear.
Right.
I'm not, that's not,
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear.
Right,
that
yeah,
people know.
their request was cut. I didn't mean to complain, we did.
Any discussion on the motion and second that's on the floor? Any discussion? No discussion. Okay, hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Dave, how do you vote?
No,
Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nikki, how do you vote?
No.
Rob Wursch, I'll vote no. Fails 3-3.
One more motion if I might. Department 1102. So it's for the Connecticut Council of Municipalities. Currently, again, I would mention this in the meeting we had before. This organization supports municipalities throughout the state. I think we're one of maybe the only one, or maybe one of two of the municipalities that does not support this organization. We do get the benefits from it. But again, I view it sort of like NATO. We're getting the benefits, but we're not doing our share. So I don't know the full amount, but I'm gonna suggest that we give them, I believe it's over 5,000. I'm gonna suggest that we authorize a $3,000 contribution to that organization.
Okay, the motion is to add $3,000
I don't think there's a line for it.
to
I think it's probably page
page
12,
10,
line 12, I believe.
Yes.
line 12. Thank you, Bill. Page 10, Board of Selectmen. Department 1102, line 12, to add $3,000 for
CCM.
CCM. Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. Let's jump to a couple of other ones that are pretty, yeah, go ahead, Mickey, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I had 45, which clearly is not the number. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to add 45,000 back into the budget for the ambulance. Is it rent?
No.
Services, sorry.
Yep. Do folks need a page number on that?
yes, please.
Okay, I'll have it.
I don't
So
either.
as soon as I get it, I'll shoot it over. Page 23, yep, 22, 23, 23. Line 10. 23, line 10. Page 23, Fire Department's 2202, line 10. Nikki's motion is to add $45,000 to that line item to cover the 24/7 EMS service that we have in town.
What number was that again, line item?
Line 10.
10.
I'll second that motion.
Yep.
Rob Ward, just a second. We went through this, so for discussion, I'll jump in first. We went through this in prior meetings. This is our 10th meeting on the budget. We went through this in prior meetings and it's unfortunate that we and Putnam have to increase that item, but when we look at the services we have and some comps in the area, it's still far below what outsourcing this would be. And for those who aren't aware, Putnam EMS is a collaboration between the town of Putnam and the town of Thompson. It's not a town of Putnam entity, it's an independent entity. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Am I correct?
Services both towns.
Am I correct in understanding if we didn't do it, they were gonna leave?
If,
Well, it's written into the contract that should there be issues, they can come to the town and make the request.
Yeah, and if we don't do it,
Hey, Bill.
Then it would be breach of contract.
they could.
okay,
I'd add, Brian, I'm gonna be with them on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
To review the current finances in the current year. So this is, I mean, they're a hardworking group and.
oh,
it's-
I'm not questioning
No,
that.
I know, I know.
Okay,
Any other discussion?
Is this the one we were talking about where it would across the board, it was 78 and then
No,
we're.
that was for each of the fire departments.
Okay,
these
all
ones
right,
are housed up on the hill.
Yeah.
all right.
This is for the
Fire
ambulance,
department.
this is for the ambulance service. In town.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Again, you
Amy.
mentioned the comps in the area, and just so that the audience who might not have been attending the previous meetings know. The town of Pomfret contracts KB ambulance to have an ambulance in Pomfret, so similar to us having a Putnam EMS ambulance here. The town of Pomfret is paying $460,000, and they have a brand new facility for the ambulance crew to stay in, unlike what we have. So just note that, and then the town of Woodstock, is looking to pay $525,000 for their ambulance that's in town.
And we're at 315, is that correct?
It'll be,
With the 45, is that 350?
because we have the offset of the two ambulances, it would be 355. But we have the offset of 60,000,
And the offset brings it down.
yes.
Okay. Any other discussion, clarification on the motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote again. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
No,
Dave, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes,
And Rob Ward will vote yes, that passes 5-1.
if I may.
Yep, go ahead, Nikki.
I am on page 15, line 16.
What budget?
Assessor 1303.
Okay.
Based on the new, I think this one's been hanging out for a little bit as well, Bill, right? The 1600.
Yeah, yes.
Yep, so I would like to remove 1600 from line 16, the GIS maintenance and updates in the assessor 1303 budget.
I'll second that.
Okay, Nikki made the motion on page 15, assessor 1303, line 16, to reduce the GIS line for contracts down by 1,600, seconded by Steve. Is there any discussion on
No,
that?
I think we discussed it already.
We discussed it already, Dave, that's right. This was,
Because they're
this is not impacting the
no.
services.
Yeah,
Paul
we
actually got a
didn't vote on
contract
that?
lower.
No, we
Okay.
did not.
Sorry, Brian, what was the question?
I apologize for being rude and speaking when you were
No,
speaking.
no worries, but what was your, is the question for everyone or we all said it?
No, I just had in my notes that we had done the 16, but I didn't realize we hadn't voted on it.
Okay, anyone else have any questions or comments on this?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob Wurge, I'll vote yes, that
Vote yes for the
passes
second time.
6-0.
And one more, I
Yep,
think.
go ahead, Nikki, you have the floor.
you're on a roll.
All right, this is page 14,
Line 13?
line 13,
Budget number?
tax collector 1302.
So what page is that again?
It is the page in front, 14.
14, yes.
I should
I
have
thought you
done
said
in order.
24, I'm sorry.
It's okay. And it's it's page 14, line 13.
All right,
And the motion is to remove $450 per we can push the training by the tax office comment.
Second it.
Oh,
Dave
Eager
got it.
over here. Eager.
Motion was by
Stereo.
Nikki, was
Got it in
seconded by
stereo.
Dave. It's page 14, line item, page 14, tax collector 1302, line item 13, to reduce training by $450. Any discussion?
No.
Any discussion? No discussion. Hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Dave, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian?
yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob will vote yes, that passes 6-0. Anything else, Nikki, or can we open up the floor?
Sorry, I just had, you asked me to keep track. I'm big trying to keep track.
Housekeeping, no?
I
Good
think
job.
I'm,
I'll make a motion.
Yes, Steve,
Department 4102, Veteran Service,
page number?
36. Reduce advertising by $1,800 to $200.
So we're on page 36, Steve.
Yep.
Veteran Services 4102,
Line 10, which says off
line 10, office supplies. You want to reduce that by how much?
$1,800.
By $1,800. Is there a second to that motion? I'll give everybody a minute to get to the page. Page 36,
Yes, thank you.
line 10,
Line-
Veteran Services 4102. Steve has a motion to reduce that line item by $1,800.
Line 2?
No.
No.
Line 10.
Line
I
10,
apologize,
line
line 10.
line 10, office supplies,
What was the amount again?
$1,800.
And they're seeking 1975?
That's the
Uh,
change.
2,000.
2,000, that would leave 200 as a balance. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Anyone else? Anyone else have anything?
I'll make a motion that we accept the school budget as presented.
Steve, I prefer to finish here and then move to the school, but I can't preclude you from making a motion.
I'll pass it. We've got more items on the town budget.
Okay, the motion is to pass the school budget as is. Is there a second? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Anyone else have anything?
I would just, can we get a recap now where we
I had
stand
a
before we
few
go
thi-
into
I had a
that?
few
I think
things
this,
before we do the
okay, I mean, before we go into the school, I just want to know where we stand
I'll ask for that.
before, okay, I'm just saying.
Brian, I'll definitely ask for that.
Okay.
Before we go into the school. But I had a couple of things myself. I'd like to go to page 29, please. Group can go to page 29. We had some discussion around this.
Which budget is that?
That would be ground supplies parks 3203. I understand and appreciate what they're doing. I think we all value our parks. So. But overall, it's a
Nick,
14%, it's a 14% increase. I'm suggesting that we still do we still provide an increase to get some of the things done that they're asking to get done, but we don't do it all in 1 year. So for line 12 on supplies, they're asking for $2,000 additional from last year to going from 600 to 800. My motion is to drop that by $1,000 to $7,000. So it's still an increase over prior years, but not the full ask.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion was page 29, grounds and supplies 3203, line 12, dropping it $1,000 to $7,000, seconded by Brian. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
I'll say yes.
Dave, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Nikki?
yes,
And Rob, I'll vote yes, so that passes 6-0. Keeping on that same page, I had a question on the increase on the next line 13. It's $3,800, so it went from 10,200 to $14,000. Again, supportive of adding, helping to improve our parks, but maybe not doing it all in 1 year. What does that mean to the footbridge? There was a lot of discussion around the footbridge. If I could ask Amy or Bill, is that 3,800 specific for the footbridge and they need the 10-2 for everything else? Or do we have some room to maybe modify that a little bit?
I think you would have some room to modify. We can just do a portion of the footbridge. It's not, it's of concern and it's not something we want to let go much longer. So, and this is also the year that they were going to remulch because with the safety mulch for the playground areas, which they didn't do last year.
Okay, well, I also heard with the footbridge, there was a safety element. I don't want to do something that's
Right.
gonna put up any of our citizens in an unsafe area.
It's
So-
not dire, but if we keep kicking, I hate that term. If we keep neglecting to do it year after year, it's going to become a hazard, so.
So if we
something
reduce
wanna be
that, they
proactive.
can't do it, or if we reduce it, there's still funding to do it, I guess.
Depends how much you reduce it.
And the climb is from 10,200 to 14,000. It's a 37% increase. So
Is it possible?
Go ahead,
If I
Nate.
may ask, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you
it's
go
Nate here.
first.
Is it possible to see like, because it's talking about the footbridge and the mulch replacement, what the breakdown would be between the two? Because I know, just being insurance, like the footbridge is more of a liability than the mulch. You know, someone's
Yeah.
walking off that thing and that crashes down, like we're dealing with
That's
major
correct, Nate.
lawsuits.
That's correct, Nate. I don't think the 14,000 is just for those two items. They know, they have a budget every
Okay,
year
because
for
that's,
maintenance.
well,
That's
they put that in
incremental
for
to cover
comments,
that.
but. I'm just saying, because that was the comments, and I know the footbridge probably would be the more superiority situation there over liability versus
I agree.
mulch.
I agree with your comment.
What is the motion to do?
If
There is
we,
an-
I'm feeling out what's needed, because I don't want to cut something
I
that's a
had
problem.
two, but.
Yeah, my thought would be to take it from 14,000 to 12, so it'd still be $1,800 more than the 10,2.
So you're
my-
taking two out.
So the motion is to take $2,000
I'll second that.
out of line 13, under grounds and parks, 3203. I made the motion and Dave seconded it, reducing it by $2,000. Is there any discussion?
Want to let people walk halfway across the footbridge?
Well, I got a nod from the first selectman that there'll still be plenty
They
of
do.
funding to do the footbridge. That was what I was concerned about. Any other discussion?
As long as they hold on to the rails, they'll be fine.
Oh, maybe.
Let me put it that way.
Okay, I'm gonna assume there's not a lot of discussion on this one. Steve, how do you vote?
I'm gonna vote yes.
Nate, how do you
I'm
vote?
gonna say no.
Dave, how do you? vote?
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Nikki,
No.
and Rob will vote yes, that passes 4-2.
Like to Columbus and Putnam would have handicap fell down.
Okay.
Now you say something.
Thought of that after the vote.
I have another item for the group, and I didn't forward the email on because it came in late, but it was from our town planner. Trying to find it. It was quite a nice write-up. If folks want it, I can easily send it over later. She was doing two things here. One, she was kind of describing the need. There was, let's go to that. Let's move everybody to that page. It'd be page 48. We can move to page 48. There was questions around the $15,000 on the economic development project. And she explains that in terms of the campaign that's underway. This is a marketing campaign. She's working with a third party. It falls in line with a lot of the discussion and comments we've heard around bringing businesses in and promoting the town. So I don't know if that was clearly identified in our earlier meetings, but I'll send this out to you and there's a lot more detail, but that's what that funding is going to. And it wouldn't be the first year that we worked with this firm. They've been helping us for at least a couple of years now. So appreciate that feedback. And then she also said that in line item 13, line item 14, printing and publications under economic development, page 48, Department 6205. There's $5,000 there. And she said, if we were to reduce that by $2,500, that would be enough for her to, there's less publication and printing that's needed this year. And she explains that here as well, the reasons why. I won't get into all the reasons, but she's saying if we took that down by 2,500, she was offering that decrease. So
Is that a
I'll make
motion?
the so with that, I'm gonna make a motion to reduce that
I'll
line.
second that.
That's seconded by Dave, page 48, economic and development, 6205, line 14, reducing it by $2,500. Any discussion on it? And hearing none, we're about midway. I'm gonna switch my rotation. Nikki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Nate,
I'll say yes.
Steve says yes, and Rob says yes. That passes 6-0. Okay, anyone else want to go anywhere else? Are you within the town? I'd like to stay within the town for the moment. Anyone, any other board of finance member?
I have a quick question.
Sure,
So,
Lee, go.
with that when we were just on, wasn't there discussions over the percentages for the salaries for that department under town planner? Or am I thinking? No.
I don't think so. I'm thinking about any discussion.
And then under the last one that we did the reduction for, like they had the footbridge.
Yep.
I believe there was something that had to
29.
do, yeah, with
Yeah.
the summer help. I remember we talked about maybe trying to do a contract or something to eliminate that and just do a set rate for. That was up in the last meeting. And just having someone to like, do the mowing and everything versus hopefully trying to find people that will do something for the town. So at least we know we have that guarantee. Is that something that we could discuss or is that at a later date then?
Well, I think the concept of how that's managed would fall within the board of selectmen. To decide that, I mean, we can make recommendations, but that would fall within them if.
Yeah, I'll take care of
The proposed budget is $2,000 more than the prior year. They had 10,000, now they're going to 8,000.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to comment on that.
Well, I guess I'll look further into it and I'll get back.
Okay.
Thank you.
I might ask a question about that item. Actually, Bill, is the $10,000 projected for the current year? Is that, we don't spend it, or is it going to be spent between now and end of July, June?
We spent the majority of that already, but
Okay.
there is some early spring work, which
Thank you.
is usually related to cemetery prep. And clean up before Memorial Day, I believe, that will consume the rest of it.
Thank you.
Okay. Last request.
Rob,
Yes, Brian.
3202 Public Works,
Um,
line 17.
Page, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave, 28.
Page 28, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's fill it out. Yes, go ahead, Brian.
Seeing we're nickel and diamond here, 17, the outside contractors. Amy, is there I'm just asking, it's outside, is extra guardrails?
Yeah, they never finished Fabian Road,
Fabian
guardrails
Road.
obviously are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
all
didn't
right.
get much for 25,000.
all right. And line 18, tree services. I know every tree in town is coming down. Is that? We were 2021, 2020, now we're 27.5. Is there any way we could knock something out of that on the tree services?
I think that relates to the boom and the distance of the town boom versus.
Yeah, I know they have to have outside con, but they got 20. The
Well,
last 2
anything
years.
you reduce is just fewer trees that we're able to take down. We've been effective and really utilizing the work. We've also been working with Eversource quite closely. Oftentimes when I reach out to Eversource, they do come out and
Right.
take down the trees that I need them to take down. So, yeah, I mean, it's a target. It's certainly something you could reduce. Just
Say if we made it instead of,
Same as last year.
well, last, what they, 25, 20. Again, I agree, there's more trees or some, I was thinking if we reduced it by 5,000 to 22.5. I mean, at least it's a little bit of an increase, but could reduce that by 5,000. Just a thought.
Are you making that a
I'll-
motion?
I'll make that in the form of motion. to
I'll
reduce
second
it.
that, Brian.
Reduce line 18.
They are smaller buckets
Yeah.
that we're
Yeah.
dealing with, but it's an area that we're not gutting it and saying trees aren't important. There's still, $22,000 to address it. And I know some years we haven't been able to spend it all from manpower. Dave, do you have a question?
Dave's putting in for his tree to be down right away.
Okay.
The extra money's there.
Any other discussion? The motion was on page 28, line item 18, tree service, to reduce it from 27,500 to 22,500.
I would just like to put out there, because they've been on my road, which is Brickyard Road, they actually are going after the dead trees that are hanging over the power lines. And that area that I am is connected to 131 does lose power significantly, that we have a Generac just to kick in, just in case.
Yep.
That there's a lot of people that probably either can't get service like that, can't afford something like that, and we are a very rural town. That in that situation cutting back to protect the lines. Eversource does come out, which the selectman is correct, but they only go to a certain point, and I witnessed it myself on my road where they cut it down to like here.
Yeah.
And then they wipe their hands clean and they walk away.
Right.
And then we're responsible for the last that starts to rot.
Mhm.
And actually there was a tree that was rotting and it fell into the road that could have killed someone if they were driving by. And we were responsible for cleaning that up. So I just kind of want to point there that I know we may not use that all, but as we've been talking about, just in case, maybe pad things here and there. I would probably want to not really reduce it as much, but keeping it there just because, so instead of what he was maybe a little bit less. But
What are you
if we have
thinking,
to, then
Dana?
yeah, I understand what you're
No,
talking
what,
about.
what number are you thinking then?
Amend the
What is
motion.
it that you
I'll
want
amend
to?
the motion. Wouldn't, I said, to reduce it to,
22.5.
22.5.
Can we increase it maybe like 2,000?
So that,
So take 3 out.
so
Take
take 3 out. That's fine. I'll amend my
Okay.
motion to 3.
I'm fine with
I
that.
think I seconded it. I'll
Yep.
second the amendment.
Yep.
So now
Fine.
we're talking about a reduction of 3,000, which would put it down to 24,500.
Right.
And to clarify, Amy, this is for tree service. So there's like different elements of trees. There's Eversource that you mentioned. There's tree service, what we call a tree guy, and he comes in. That's what
Mhm.
this budget is.
Yes.
And then there's our guys that cut trees.
And that's not
You
in the tree.
And that's not in this line item.
Right.
I'm just.
I understand.
A lot of trees. But
It
it's
can be.
important.
I
It's
mean,
important.
they did so much on our
I
road
totally
already.
agree. I totally agree. I mean, last thing any of us wants is extended power outage. So, nice, adjustment, Nate. Thank you.
Totally. bored.
Any other discussion on
It
the
seems
motion?
very arbitrary what we're suggesting here. There's no thought behind this. It's just let's cut it some.
Yeah,
And I understand that, but I kind of wish it's because of X, Y, or Z as opposed to that they threw that out.
yes, Steve, if I may, I think I said it earlier, it's above what they've spent in prior years.
I understand.
That's the
I
logic
understand.
behind it.
I'm one
is
that looks at that
The
more than
logic
anybody.
behind it is that we have to do some of
No,
it, but do we have to do all
You're
of
not
it?
alone with that, Steve. All right.
Still leaving plenty there, more than any other year, so, any other discussion? Nikki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
No,
Steve votes no, Rob will vote yes, it passes 5-1. Anything else anyone has on the town? If there's not, I'd like to ask Bill to maybe give us another snapshot of what the roll-up is. And reminding everyone on the Board of Finance that we can come back and visit anything at any time. So,
We are currently at a mill rate of 20.92. That's an increase of 1.63 mil, primarily driven by the ambulance increase. 1.63.
20.92, 1.63.
Right.
And an overall spend adjustment of 5.3%, if I'm reading the top right correctly.
Yes,
Under I-9,
correct.
okay. Any questions for Bill?
What was the total amount now that we've taken from the town's proposed? Do you have a total?
The Board of Finance has taken 330,183. And the Board of Selectmen has taken 572,105.
What's that in total? Mr. Math?
Any other questions for Bill?
900,000.
Keep the exact number.
Heck, give them the lifesavers.
Any other questions for Bill?
No.
Bill, do you need any time? You're kind of doing this live, real time. I want to be
I think we're good.
respectful of your, most excellent Excel capability.
I think we're good.
Okay. Then if there's nothing right now remaining on the town, with the town, I would suggest we move over to the school. Any discussion on the school, any questions on the school?
I have a question, what gets us to 1.5 mils?
About 200,000.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make my statement now because I've talked to a lot of people, okay? And I appreciate everybody that comes here. My daughter is fortunate enough to, under Melinda, who hired her and teaches and is in the town of Thompson teaching, and she absolutely loves it. She loves the people she works with. My wife was a teacher for 43 years and still teaching. My father was a college professor. I taught for a year at Woodstock. I understand the value of education. Dave knows the value of education. Statement was made earlier today. We have to do what's best for the town as a whole. Someone in that room, and I'm looking at everybody, so you see that I'm looking today. Someone made that comment, and it's difficult for us to not take into account everybody as a whole. We've just taken 330,000, and you just spent 3 weeks of us nickel and diming this budget in the town. His point of Teague is well taken, that the service that Teague gives our community affects almost 20% of our community. We're having cereal box challenges so we can get food to our kids. It's unbelievable. Veteran services were almost cut. We didn't do that. Tree services are being cut that are affecting all of us. We've taken out sand and salt that affects all of us, and we cut road paving. Our roads are absolutely atrocious. And I listen to everybody that says, but also you got to understand, we have people that I see in the grocery store or I see in the restaurant, and we've had some people make the comment today, we cannot afford any sort of increase. It's a tough decision to make, that we have to take care of everybody. When I look at the dynamics of the town, there is a number of elderly and seniors and middle age that can't afford this increases. And unfortunately for us, this reval period is hurting us even more. So I made the statement, what gets us to 1.5 million? I think on a whole, most of us on this board don't want to go out for 1.5 million after the 2 last year. But we understand the need for education, and we understand the need for Amy to move forward with the town. So I'm going to put on a motion that we cut $200,000 from the Board of Education budget. That would bring it to 1.5 million. And I think that's fair after we've cut 330. And I know this, and I think I've had a number of discussions with Melinda, our superintendent. I think she's savvy enough in her budget out of 22 million, that if she has to nickel and dime like we've just done to get to $200,000, I believe in her that she'll do that. And I think that's a fair thing to go out to the community, because if it doesn't pass to the 1.5 million, then we're really in trouble. So I'm making a motion to cut 200,000. No, I can't?
Hold on.
Oh, no, you gave me the wrong number.
I wanted, in order, the spreadsheet that I had set up here. Just so people understand the adjustment I'm making right now, because please respect the fact that I'm working on the fly. This spreadsheet was built to reflect what the necessary mill rate change was without the with the $45,000 adjusted bid built in here, because we hadn't had it in the spreadsheet.
Okay.
We do have it in the spreadsheet
All right,
now.
where are we?
So people understand. We are now at 20.79 mil. That comes to here, that's the 20.79 mil. And what this spreadsheet now shows is what each reduction at this level would get us to. So to get to 1.5. Just give me one. It's just testing. To get us to 1.5, yep.
Do you want 5?
Oh, I'm there. It's $150,000 cut
All right,
to get to 1.5.
then I'll make the motion for $1.5, $150,000 to get 1.5. We really, people should go lower. We should. And I don't even know if that motion will pass here today, but that's my motion for 150 for 1.5.
Thank you, Brian. I'm gonna second that motion, and I'm gonna say a few words as well. I appreciate your words, Brian. I understand what the school is going through. I've heard it loud and clear. I sat in the joint budget workshop, so I'm not speaking totally blindly. I sat in the teachers' negotiation, union negotiation, and spent time and energy to learn and understand that. So I really want people to not run down a path of blind cuts and we're just cutting stuff. I actually even went through the budget line by line, and I won't get into it now, but I have 4 bullets of areas that I'd like to explore more, but I'm not going to.
Don't tell me your numbers are
Understand
wrong.
that it sits on the bed. And I also agree with Brian, and I have the confidence and faith in Melinda. I'd like to go 0. I would have liked to gone 0 on the town. We're trying to balance, and the word I think of is balance. We're trying to balance this to help people that we've heard tonight and other nights that are really, really on hard times with this reval, against people that really feel passionately about 0 cuts, fund everything. It's just, both ends are just not practical, and we're trying to find a balance here on both. I understand special ed on top of that and the mandates and what it's driving. We're asking, in my second and Brian's motion, asking the school to dig a little deeper. They've already dug deep, dig a little deeper and find 150,000. It's probably 0.7%, somewhere in that range. So that was a long second, but I wanted to share that as well. So we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any, I'm gonna open it to discussion. Nikki, go ahead.
So I did not make the joint budget this year, but I did last year, and I will just say personally, right, I get frustrated because we can't go line item by line item. That's why we have a Board of Ed. But I did want to say, I did the same thing. I took the budget packet that was given and I went line item by line item to see, and I talked and asked some questions of Melinda and of Kathleen. So I too am not going into it blind on where and what, but obviously we don't have the jurisdiction. But in that, I do want to thank the Board of Ed for their due diligence. I know there's been a lot of conversations. I know there's been a lot of different things, and for the presentation that they put together to help the rest of us understand what percentage of what goes to what was very helpful for me. So I just wanted to make sure that I could thank those guys and let them know that I know you're not sitting here, but you guys had almost the same job for the school, and I appreciate what you guys did for educating me.
Thank you, Nikki. Anyone else have any comment at this time?
I might.
Yes,
If I could ask, of the increase, how much of the increase was not special ed?
Sorry, if you're gonna ask Melinda a question, I'd actually like to invite Melinda, if you don't mind. Special guest.
End of the table.
I'm just, it's important.
The bulk of the increase was pupil
Special ed.
service.
73%, right? Yes, 73%.
So that left 27% for general ed, if you will, increase. How many, what is that in dollars roughly?
Bill, do you
It's
got-
about 9.
Yeah, I have it in front of me.
Steve, do you want the sheet? The one that we got at the public hearing?
I probably have it somewhere.
You can have mine if you want. I guess some writing on it you can disregard, but
No, that I know by heart.
886.
886.
About 350. 350,000 roughly is the increase for the general ed or non-special ed.
And that's primarily contractual obligations.
And the 150,000 so is. What's that of that share? It's 40%, 35%, something like that. But of the general ed request. That's a substantial. Very tough cut. I don't care how magical Melinda can be, and I know she can, but that is a tough cut. And there's nothing magical about 1.5 or 1.52 or 1.6 or something like that. I know.
Well,
I know, Brian, you feel that way, but I'm not sure there's anything magical about those.
It is
those
because, when I was on the Board of Ed the first go around, on the Board of Finance, And I think Dave might have been there when they came in with the umbrellas because it was raining. You know, I've gone through this. There is a magical number. Quite frankly, as I've been, you know, in town 40 years plus. There is a magical number that they say, well, maybe I can do that. It's been turned down before and it's been passed before, you know, so I do believe there is certain magical number. I don't, quite honestly, I don't know if this magical number will pass. It is gonna depend on what happens like they did last year, but the other side of that coin is, and I guess I'm not saying this sarcastically, but if some of the special ed kids moved out of the town, you know, for whatever reason, those numbers may go down. I'm not saying they will, but they may go down. Let's be realistic. They're not just gonna always stay and we're just gonna keep growing. Some come, some go. I've learned that over the years from my wife, who was a special ed teacher all her life. So it ebbs and flows a little bit. Now, unfortunately, we have just been whacked, you know, and I understand that, but it ebbs and flows. So maybe we get into next year, and as a year goes on, that 150 isn't as bad as it sounds today. It could be worse. I'm being honest, but there's gotta be a give on this part of our budget that can help the townspeople too. And I think, quite frankly, you know, the discussion was 200,000, but if 150 gets us to $1.5 million, I think that's fair enough to go out on. So I've said my piece.
Thank you, Brian. Hang on a second. Nate, do you guys?
Oh, sorry. No.
It's okay. I just gets clouded in the microphone.
I know, I apologize.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Steve, back to you.
When we look at the town budget and look at specific items, we could discuss it, we see, hey, we don't need as much tree service as we thought. Just an arbitrary size, exactly that, arbitrary.
So Steve, I'll
Go ahead, Nikki.
I'll just say, right. When I went through it, like one of the things I looked at was the math lab. My kids love it, but the math, it's.
I thought it said meth lab. I'm sorry. I was saying.
Kids love that too, let's be real.
That's my bad. It's my bad. I apologize. I think she'd make budget very easily if we did that. So I definitely go to zero if she was doing that.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Sorry, I believe it started, you know, as something, right? My daughter went to it and she really enjoyed it, and it didn't exist this year because it just couldn't financially. And it's in the budget again this year. Oh, you do have it this year? And it's in there. But like, not every kid gets to go to it. And there's the ability, I get that the kids need it, but if it doesn't show up, it doesn't show up, right? Like, and that's a chunk of the money. If I had their budget and their line item, I would probably go after, right? It's just one example. It's for me, this isn't arbitrary. My kids fit in that 300,000, right? And I see what they're missing. And I think I said it last week. I end up paying anyway, right? Because I do all the fundraising and I show up to the school and I try to get companies to start helping. Like, it's still an effort we have to put in, but I agree with Brian. There's still a ton there's still a ton of people who don't get services or are associated with the school. And there's a balance that has to happen. I'm glad it's this and not more, but there has to be a little bit. And for me, it wasn't arbitrary. I have a number on my sheet. This is within my range. I'm willing to support this. I'm with Rob. I'd rather it be 0, but I also am petrified of if this doesn't get the backing, that all of a sudden now we're looking at a ton more. And that makes me even more nervous. So for me, it's not arbitrary. There's notes on there. You can see I went through, I looked, I had a range. This is in the range. So I don't want people to think that it is just arbitrary, because then that goes back to what I said earlier. That completely takes away from the people in this room on the Board of Ed and the work that they did to give us the information. If I just said it was an arbitrary number, it's not.
Thank
At
you.
least for me.
Thank you. Anyone else, any discussion?
Again, it's 40% of the requested increase. That's giant. That's ridiculous, quite frankly. 40% of the increase.
What was the cut requested?
150,000.
Of the 250, that's.
Out of the 250,000.
No, that's 350, I think it is, roughly.
So the original was 350 we wanted to cut.
350
I
was
don't-
for non.
Nobody,
special ed.
nobody
said
talked about cutting
350.
anything anywhere
Increase.
in the Board of Education budget.
Okay,
I made a motion to cut
That's
150,000
correct.
out of their proposed budget. It's up to them where they take it out of. So that's the number that I feel gets us at 1.5, which I think maybe the community would embrace.
Which I seconded, and the reason, Nate, for that is the Board of Ed controls the line item.
mhm.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it,
Right,
we'll
I
talk
can
about
see
it,
that
but
with
at the
them.
end of the day, it doesn't fall on this group to make
Right.
line item cuts. But it does fall on this group to understand, the budget itself and learn about it.
Okay,
I
just
think,
to talk.
Steve, if I could, I understand where you're coming from. On the flip side, what other people would say is even with that reduction, it's $1 million increase in the school. So it's not that we're abandoning the school or even pushing them backwards. It's still over $1 million increase to the prior year.
866,
Which I get,
which is
hang on a
mandated.
second, which I get it's not all of what they need, and even what they ask for is not all of what they need. There was more than that was already cut dramatically, so we all understand that. I think what we're trying to do is find a compromise position that's gonna work. So that's just the counterpoint to I get it that it's 150 of the 350, it's still $1 million club.
$1 million kind of which 866 is going to be required by the state. Assuming we don't have any additional needs in the special
And I- no.
category.
Yes, Nikki.
I was just gonna say, and I think Amy said it earlier, and we keep having these conversations. I wanna have a signing party. Like, instead of paint party, let's have a signing party. Let's print the letters Kristen brought up at our last meeting. Let's have them on a table. I'll buy pizza from Thompson House Pizza or any of the places in the town,
Mhm.
just to get the parents in to sign the letters, put them in a stacked envelope and mail them in. I'll do whatever it takes to help, but this is a legislation problem, but all the people in our town, we've gotta find a happy medium somehow. And we've gotta take the energy that we're having here amongst all of us in the town and focus it back where the problem is. It's
Mhm.
not with the Board of Ed, it's not with Melinda, it's not with us, it's not with the people. It's with the legislation that even those that we're voting in that are starting to get us some money, it's just not enough. 40,000 isn't gonna cut it. And if we don't take our energies and put it towards them instead of each other, we're fighting the wrong people. We're arguing with the wrong people.
If
All
we
right,
could-
thank you.
if we
Steve,
were
yes.
just addressing the legislature right now, fine, but that's not an option for us. We're not tonight deciding what the state should, how the state should support us. We can't do that here. So saying that that's the problem, I don't disagree with you, but saying that's the problem, therefore, forget it. I just don't, I don't agree with you.
If we
Okay,
could
thank you, Steve.
support
Brian.
100%, I understand you want to give them as much as, I want to give them as much as they can. The reality is we can't.
Mhm.
That's the bottom line. We can't. I think it's a great compromise of what we put forward to not only, I would never want to take 300,000 away from the town, but they took a wicked hit so that we could get only 150 off the school. Let's be realistic here. I heard everything they said, and I looked at people today. They want us to move forward education, and every time I hear the school is always sacrificed. Let me tell you something. 40 years, the town has taken the hit. When you look at our infrastructure, our lack of going out for businesses over the 40 years. When I was first selectman in 99, I wanted to buy that farm where that rock quarry is to have an industrial park. Nobody wanted it. And now we're paying the price for lack of initiative in our community. So I understand what you're saying. This is a good deal for everybody. And quite frankly, it's not a good deal for the government side of the town. It's not. And these gentlemen and these ladies and the people on top, we're having trouble making ends meet. I feel bad that it's even going out at $1.5 million. And I'm being honest, but it's a compromise I feel should be supported.
Yeah.
So I've said enough. Let's take a vote.
Thank you, Brian.
We could be here all night.
No, but I want to make sure everybody's exhausted because if I
I'm exhausted.
cut anybody short, I meant their voices.
Oh, I'm
Does
sorry.
anyone else have any discussion?
Just I'm gonna start, the Board of Ed cut, what, $2 million from where you started? But it didn't come here as a wish list, it's a dream. Came here already cut.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else?
I'm just
Nate?
curious because it's like, when we were at that special Board of Education meeting, then we have the Board of Finance, you talked about how you cut this and that, you get rid of certain teachers into the next year to try and do reduction, with the amount is wondering if what we're looking at for that 150 to go up a little higher, maybe to like 2 or things like that, just to kind of level things out from what we've already cut for the town as a whole with the school, since they're reducing their services there and they're just focusing more on the special education.
So you're suggesting cutting it further?
Well, they were wondering, what was it? 300 to 150 is what we're talking about?
330 on the town.
330.
150 is what's the motion.
Motion.
That hasn't happened yet. That's what's.
So
being
like
discussed.
150 to 2.
What would,
So-
what would be
But
the
you-
impact to this? I think
Understand.
he's asking if instead of it just being 150, if the cut was 200, what difference would that make to
Yeah,
the school?
sorry,
That's the
yeah.
question I
Thank
think
you.
he's
Sorry.
trying to ask.
it's gonna mean personnel and student programs.
That 50,000 would be that much of an impact for personnel. Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Nate. Any other questions or comments? Before we vote? Okay. Hearing none, we're gonna vote individually here.
No.
Steve votes no. Nate,
What is the actual motion again? It's
Yeah.
to reduce the school budget
By
in
like
aggregate by
$150,000.
$150,000.
You would say yes.
Dave,
I'll say no, I don't believe it's enough.
thank you, Dave. Brian,
Yes,
Nikki,
Yes,
and Rob Worridge, I'll vote yes. It passes 4-2.
if I may.
please, sorry.
Okay.
Um, You have the floor next. I just wanted to clarify, now that we made another pretty significant change, can you flow that through the spreadsheet? for us?
So we are now at 20.79.
20.79, we were at 20.79.
No, we're 20.92, I thought.
Yeah, 20.92. I have written
What you
down.
said was 20.79, I wrote it down.
Well, the font is small, so he
No,
can't
I
see
wrote it
it.
down when you, just want to make sure.
I did too.
I had 20.92.
Me too.
We're at. So just so everyone can see. On the budget spreadsheet, this is where the cut to the school gets entered. Board of Finance change of the school board budget. It cuts it from 22,674 to 22,524. That flows to the summary budget page here. There's your 22,524. Your new mill rate is 20.79, which is a 1.5 mil increase.
Okay, thank you. 1.5. Which was part of Brian's motion.
Correct.
Oh, so you might have done the what if last time, that's why it's 20, that's why it's the same number, okay. And it's a 4.8% cost, the budget itself is 4.8% increase in cost.
Total.
Yeah, Dave, I was gonna go to you, but I actually Nikki, I cut her off, so I wanna go back.
If you don't mind.
to Nikki.
No, I was just trying to get my last number. What's the tax warrant amount, Bill, with that?
The tax warrant amount is 23,419,150.
So I would like to make a motion to send the budget as stated in an expense amount of 32,825,814 with a total tax.
845.
845. With a total tax warrant amount of 23,419,115 with a proposed mill rate of 272 to town meeting on.
No, it's not
20.79.
20.79.
Sorry. I'll get it at some point. 20.79 to the town meeting on 4/10/2025.
Second,
So the motion and the second is to send the budget at 32,825,845. Tax warrant of 23,419,115. And a mill rate of 20.79, and it's seconded by Brian. Is that just for administrative purposes, does that round everything out for the for the town meeting.
Yeah, the only
Notice.
thing I
for the
may
notice.
include, only because it's also in the legal notice, the capital number.
Okay, what's the capital numbers?
Which is. Capital portion. Tabs in the spreadsheet. $110,095.
Oh, 95.
So I'll
Do you
add,
want to add that? to
I'd
your-
like to add, I'd like to add so we have the expense amount, the warrant amount, the mill rate, and the capital rate of 110,095.
And, that's a modification. Brian, you had seconded the
Correct.
original.
Yep, I'll second it.
Seconded by Brian. Is there any discussion on the
I
topic?
just have
Dave?
a question for Bill. In terms of the increase in the budget, say over the previous year,
Yes.
what will that mean in terms of the old mill rate? And the old grand list? In reality.
Yeah.
If we're comparing the increase this year. What it would mean if we increased it by that much on the old grand list in terms of
So
a
you
mill
would like
in-
to know the mill
increase
if the
based
grand
on the
list
old
hadn't
grand
changed.
list.
Be a lot more than 1.5.
Yeah,
It's like a
Over
2 something.
how much?
Be substantial.
Three?
The three.
Well, I think if you take the 1929 ratio over the 2811 and apply that ratio to the 1.5, you get there.
Just curious. Paper scanning.
You keep your papers to yourself, please.
Was that mine?
Jump in.
75.
Questions.
Unfortunately, this is,
How many kids are in this?
this is not a venue to be asking questions.
Divided by 22.8, we can't do any better?
Mhm.
Come on. What do we got, 800 kids?
2.18,
That's all.
yeah, increase.
What is it?
It would have been a 2.18 mil increase.
I think that's slightly low.
I think the reality, Dave, is that even if we didn't have a reval, the ground list there'd be some adjustments for property improvements,
yeah,
et cetera.
yeah.
So the 2.1 would be curved back a little bit in reality,
Not
but
much.
we're guessing. Any other questions or discussion or comments on the motion and the second on the floor?
Mr. Chair, on the motion itself, I think that the procedure, and Ken's here, he can correct maybe. The procedure is it comes back to the Board of Selectmen and then we send it to the town.
I was
manager.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just thinking that, yeah.
So I will amend my motion
Again,
again for a
Send
third
it.
time. Third time's a charm. I'll get us all out of here, I hope,
just to send it to the.
to send it to the Board of
I'll
Selectmen.
second that amendment.
Thank you, Amy.
I'll have it by the time you guys all pick me up.
Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, hearing none, we'll vote again. Steve, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nate, how do you vote?
I just want to know what's exactly what the
We're
motion
we're
is.
sending that.
Sending this to the
It's
Board of
like-
Selectmen to then send it to a town meeting, basically finishing our job today.
Okay.
So
I
no
agree.
more adjustments.
Yes, I agree.
Say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, Dave,
No,
Brian,
Yes,
Nikki,
Yes.
and Rob Word, I'll vote yes. This passes 5-1. Thank you, everyone. Let's move on to that concludes budget workshop to this point. We're not done, Nate, until the referendum passes, so feels like we're done.
Don't get rid of any of your papers.
I'm just like clinch going over
Yeah.
here.
don't burn it yet.
Nervous.
I'm gonna move back to citizen comments. I'm gonna start in the room. I'm only looking at my phone to keep my timer going, so I'm just gonna scream out and not listening, because I am listening to every word. Anyone in the room, and the one thing I would ask is to please maintain respect the 3-minute rule. And also, if the stuff you've already said before, we heard you, we're really looking for kind of new citizen comments, but please state your name and address.
Robert Mann, 15 Meadow Drive. Thank you for the work you've all done. I'm gonna just leave it to, it's nice that the town and the school, you figure out the budget at the Board of Finance meetings. But I hope people know how to do their revaluation versus what they did, what they had previously, so they can figure out what their actual mill rate increase is. One of mine's not gonna really change much. My house I live in is gonna be a 3.29 mill rate increase with the new reval. And my empty lot is gonna be a 15.19 increase. So just so people know what they're looking at.
Bless you.
That's $15.19 per $1,000 of value. More on top of what I was already paying. So, thank you for your time tonight. And
Thank you. Anyone else in the room, citizen? Yes, please.
Lisa Rice, 388 Watertown Road. I am a lifelong resident of Thompson. I've been teaching in Thompson for 31 years now. And I appreciate everyone's work. I want you to know, as teachers, we've done the same thing to present our budget to Melinda. You go line by line. When I tell you we went through every cabinet, every drawer, counted every folder, every pencil, every box of crayons to make sure that we only ordered what we needed to save pennies. We have done our due diligence to make sure what we present as teachers and staff to our administrators is going to be as cost effective for the town. Teachers spend lots of money out of their own pockets, well beyond what we can claim on our taxes. They have cut the teachers and positions that have been cut. While I understand why, because of the enrollment, I'm also thinking about the future. And I think if we have an influx of students at any grade level, what that will either do to the class size, or how in the future are we even going to get those positions back into the budget? If population increases. I appreciate everyone's time, but please know that we are doing the same thing within these students.
Thank you for that. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Scott Crowdy, Thompson, Connecticut. Now, during this board meeting, I do appreciate what you do, and I think teachers, our students should have a good education. But if you had a car that's not running right, it's running terrible, and you took it to a mechanic, and he's giving you a big fat bill, and it's not fixing it. And then you take it back to the mechanic, and it's still running like crap. Wouldn't you get a new mechanic, right? We've been doing the same stuff over and over again since I've been here for 30 some odd years. Okay, people in this town got big raises, 25%, some of them, okay? Maybe Social Security went up yeah, that's right, Brian, you're right.
25%. Listen, if you're gonna give the
Okay.
number, I love you, but you gotta get the number right.
Who's
All right,
pointing
whatever
at?
it was,
The
it's still a
selectman? Who's
substantial
pointing?
raise.
Thank you.
Okay, let me
Here,
finish.
I'm just curious who's
Let me
pointing at.
finish.
I apologize.
Yeah, you should. Okay, the bottom
Okay,
line is Social Security went up 2.5%. You have elderly people in this town. People can't afford it. You're pricing people out of the town. Okay? It's unacceptable. I was a state employee for 26 years. Every time, Ken can verify this, every time we went for a contract, we get a nice contract, and then what do we face 2 years later? Give backs. What do the state employees want to give back? Well, maybe if the school's too expensive, We should see what the teachers wanna give back. I had to live with it. Every time I turn around, I mean, look at the Masters schools. I know whose roads got paved. I know whose roads are scenic roads. I know all, dirt just about on everybody, okay? Cause that was my
I think
business.
we're running out of time, and you're getting off. topic.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are, and you're being
And I
disrespectful.
apologize. I should have voted for you.
Well, made that mistake now.
Wives, teachers. Maybe, you know, couldn't took over.
Okay, back to.
That's a no vote for you
Civility,
next year.
civility here.
Citizens comments, citizens comments.
Citizen comments. Yes, please.
You didn't vote for me this year.
Kristen Schultz for Ski Lane. I just wanted to say thank you. I was pretty vocal last week and I really do think that you took everything I said and like really thought about it and are trying your best to do everything for both sides. I support Amy in the budget. I know she's not trying to make pink castles in the sky. Like the teachers are amazing. I volunteered last year every day of the week, hours of my time because we cut positions and I care so much about education. I was there every day trying to help fill that gap. And I also appreciate this year, the way that all the boards in last year are working together and doing all the joint meetings. I feel like it's really streamlined things and we do have a better understanding and appreciation for each other. So thank you for that. And Steve, thank you for all of your support always. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Any other citizen?
Justin Donald's, Well Fairway Drive. I want to thank the Board of Finance for taking the time this year to actually go line by line in our budget on your own time. I appreciate that. I understand that the 350 lines are long and somewhat painful to read, as I had to go through them myself. I think that we have had a lot of collaboration this year and I appreciate it. Those who are looking at their mill rates and seeing them go up, trust me, mine is going up as well. But in the last 5 years, I have seen Thompson turn a corner. And I hope to see Thompson continue to turn that corner in a positive direction. So I appreciate the work you guys have done. I understand it's volunteer work. And Mr. Johnson, if you want to have a discussion about why you'd like to cut the school budget more, I would love to have that discussion with you. So please feel free to give me a call. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Ray.
you. Appreciate that. Yes, first name and address, please.
Jessica Bolte, 1081 Riverside Drive. I noticed that two of you had made comments that you had line items in the school budget that you had pointed out, and while no, you can't tell the Board of Ed on what line items to cut, it would be nice to have you come into a meeting to discuss those line items, because we did have those collaborative events. Those line items, to my knowledge, weren't discussed in there, and they hadn't been addressed prior. So in past years, we've always been told, well, we can't tell you where to cut. You're thick in the reads, as are you, with the town side all the time. So it'd be nice to have that information when you're ready to provide it. Also, Girl Scouts will be selling cookies from 8 to 2 on Saturday. And they will be at running their runnings from 12 to 4. And then at Tractor Supply 9 to 4 as well on Sunday.
Thank you. Any other citizen in the room have a comment?
All right.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna move to the online participation. Any citizen online would like to make a comment?
Right, seeing none.
See any either. I don't wanna rush it too fast.
Yeah, there's a pause. I could have been there.
Little technology delay. All citizens online? Any citizen online would like to make a comment?
Yeah, oh, no.
Come see the TPS production of Annie.
Okay, I don't see any. Great comment. Okay.
Good one.
Yes.
Nope, I'm done with citizen comments. I'm moving on to Board of Finance member comments.
I have a
think you have one.
procedure, I have a procedural question to the citizen comment made. Are we permitted to do that? As
Yeah.
Board of Finance members?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'm sure they're very collaborative and they'd love to hear any kind of feedback and we've been working together. Any other Board of Finance member have a comment?
Yeah. You have Samoas?
And
All
not
right.
those crappy butter patties from Massachusetts either.
Any other Board of Finance?
Yes, I have
Yep.
2 that I think are.
Please keep it, 3 maximum.
I will
right?
get it, I'll try to
Keep
keep it 3. I know I can ramble. I got a text from my daughter. She said she bought cookies from your daughter. So
Oh,
I'm
gee.
covered when I go to the dump. The other correction I do want to make was a statement made of the drunken people coming from weddings at the Speedway. I think that was uncalled for because the Speedway hasn't held weddings since COVID. So I just want that for the record that they're not, and please put that in there. And my daughter also asked me to say that.
Golf's different. Golf's different. but-
No, I appreciate everything. We listened to everybody. I think we did the best we could. We're not all in agreement, but I think for now, I think it is what it is. I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else?
What's next?
You already had a comment, or you have another comment?
It was a question.
Okay.
I'm
I-
also
I-
looking out for Nate in the sense,
Yeah,
of
it's
what's
getting-
next? No, like,
I was gonna say,
what's
curious,
next,
yeah.
like
What's-
the process, what's next? Is
What-
it just
what-
the,
What's next is town meeting on the 10th.
okay,
The Board of Selectmen will meet.
We have a
decide to
meeting
Send it to town meeting.
immediately after this one.
Right, I think it's gonna be a short meeting, but you can stay around for citizen comments. if you like. And then after that, there'll be a referendum on the 24th, and that's when the town decides. So as much as we have influence over it, at the end of the day, this body's not deciding. The voters in town are deciding. I had a couple of quick ones, and I'm recognizing it's late. But relative to the two, one relative to this board and one to the school. With respect to the school, I also attended the leadership forum that you put on, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's my third year you did it or something. I think I've been there every year. I'll continue to do that. It's awesome to see those young leaders stand up in front of everybody and present. The second is, I don't want to forget that when the school had a surplus, in the prior year, $200,000 came back to the town. And that wasn't brought up today, but I thank you when you did it, and I thank you again for that. And the third is the topic of surplus. One citizen did bring that up. And it's a real issue. It's not gone away. We're gonna see where we are at the end of this fiscal year. But we may be faced with areas where we have to add surplus to the budget. Because in years past, it's been taken away to offset some of the mill rate impact. So this is a real thing. And the comment wasn't
I
dramatic.
agree.
If we get down below 5%,
We
the
should
state's
just
gonna come in and set our mill
State
rate
that
for us.
right now.
And
Gonna
then we'll
happen.
really be in a really bad way. So when we talk about balance and some of the things Brian was describing in terms of what we're trying to do, it's to avoid that kind of destruction. And then my last one is, this is round 6 for me on a 6-year term. This was a great group. I have a lot of respect for everybody at the table. Some newer learning, some been around for a long, long time. I'm learning from a few. A really great group. Proud to be part of this team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would echo that. Thank you.
Any other comment? Board of Finance? No. Is there a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
Nikki, seconded by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Well, let's stay here.